This presentation is on the history of quality management and supplements the Week 1 introductory lecture. Quality has been an important aspect of production operations throughout history. Early Egyptian wall paintings around 1450 BC shows evidence of measurement and inspection. Stones for the pyramids were cut so precisely that even today it is impossible to put a knife blade through these blocks. Modern quality assurance methods actually began in China during the Zhou dynasty. Specific government agencies were set up and given responsibility for production, inventory, and product distribution of raw materials, production and marketing, formulating and executing policy standards, and supervision and inspection. These departments were well organized and helped establish China's central control over production processes. The central government issued policies and procedures across China, including the production of utensils, carts, cotton, and silk. The sale of non-conforming, inferior, and substandard products was prohibited. In China at the time, inspection at the various stages by the workers themselves was important in establishing responsibility for quality. When a product was found to be defective, the responsible worker was identified and the root cause of the failure was determined. During the Middle Ages in Europe, skilled craft persons served both as manufacturers and inspectors. Manufacturers dealt directly with the customer and took considerable pride in their workmanship. Craft guilds, which consisted of masters, journeymen, and apprentices, emerged to ensure that craft people were adequately trained. Quality assurance was informal, but every effort was made to ensure that quality was built into the products by the people who produced them. In the middle of the 18th century, a French gunsmith named Honoré Blas developed a system for manufacturing muskets to a standard pattern using interchangeable parts. This idea of interchangeable parts was furthered by Eli Whitney, who in 1797 won a contract from the US government to supply 10,000 muskets as the US prepared for war with France. By 1801, Whitney had not supplied a single musket, and so was hauled before the US Congress to justify his idea. Whereas a customized product built by craftspersons can be tweaked and hammered to fit and work correctly, random matching of matching parts provided no such assurance. The use of interchangeable parts necessitated careful control of quality. The parts that were used in such a process had to be produced according to a carefully defined standard. In the early 1900s, the work of Frederick W. Taylor, once called the father of scientific management, led to a new philosophy of production. Taylor's innovation was to separate the planning function from the execution function. Managers and engineers were given the tasks of planning, supervisors and workers took on the task of execution. By segmenting a job into specific work tasks and focusing on increasing efficiency, quality assurance fell into the hands of inspectors. Manufacturers were able to ship good quality products but at great cost. Defects were present but were removed by inspection. Plants employed hundreds, even thousands of inspectors. Inspection was done as the primary means of quality control during the first half of the 20th century. In the early 1900s, Henry Ford Sr. developed many of the fundamentals of what we now call total quality practices. Ford executives only discovered the significance of his practices when they visited Japan in 1982 to study Japanese management practices. In their visit, one Japanese executive constantly referred to the book that Ford had written, which translates to My Life and Work, which he had written in 1926. That book had become Japan's industrial Bible and had helped Ford Motor Company realize how it had strayed from its principles over the years. In the early 1900s, the Bell system, which was a system of companies led by the Bell Telephone Company and later by AT&T, and which dominated the telephone services industry in North America, was the leader in industrial quality management. They created a department in their Western Electric Company to support the Bell operating companies. In the 1920s, employees of Western Electric's inspection department were transferred to Bell Telephone Labs. The duty of this group included the development of new theories and methods of inspection and the maintaining of quality. The early pioneers of quality, people like Walter Schwartz, Harold Dodge, George Edwards, and others such as Joseph Duran and W. Edwards Deming, were all members of this group. These pioneers coined the term quality assurance, which refers to any planned and systematic activity directed towards providing companies with products of appropriate quality, along with the confidence that products meet customers' requirements. These pioneers developed many useful techniques for measuring and controlling and improving quality. Quality control is the evaluation of a process to determine if corrective action is needed to ensure that a requested level of quality is achieved, often through some type of inspection or management activity. The Western Electric Group, led by Walter Schwartz, ushered in the era of statistical quality control, or SQC, that is the application of statistical methods for controlling quality. Schwartz is credited with developing control charts, which became a popular means of identifying quality problems in production processes and ensuring consistency of output. Others in the group developed many other useful statistical techniques. During World War II, the US military began using statistical sampling procedures and imposing stringent standards on suppliers. The War Production Board offered free training courses in statistical methods developed within the Bell system. Though the impact was minimal on the war efforts, the effort itself developed quality specialists who began to use and extend these tools within their organizations. Thus, statistical quality control became widely known and gradually adopted throughout manufacturing industries. Sampling tables labeled MIL-STD for military standard were developed and are still widely used today. The first professional journal, Industrial Quality Control, was published in 1944, and professional societies, notably the American Society for Quality Control, now called the American Society for Quality at www.asq.org, were founded soon after to develop, promote, and apply quality concepts. After World War II, two United States consultants, Dr. Joseph Juran and Dr. W. Edwards Deming, introduced statistical quality control techniques to the Japanese to aid them in rebuilding efforts. A significant part of their educational activity was focused on upper management rather than on quality specialists alone. With the support of top managers, the Japanese integrated quality throughout their organizations and developed a culture of continuous improvement, which is sometimes referred to by the Japanese term Kaizen. Improvements in Japanese quality was slow and steady, and some 20 years passed before the quality of Japanese products exceeded that of Western manufacturers. By the 1970s, primarily because of the higher quality level of their products, Japanese companies' penetration into Western markets was significant. During the 1970s, increased global competition and the availability of higher quality foreign products led U.S. consumers, armed with increased access to information, to consider their purchasing decisions more carefully and to demand high quality and reliability in goods and services at a fair price. As technology advanced and products became more complex, the likelihood of quality problems increased. Government safety regulations, product recalls, and a rapid increase in product liability judgments changed society's attitudes from let the buyer beware to let the producer beware. Businesses began to recognize that quality was vital to their survival. Quality became recognized as a key to worldwide competitiveness and was highly promoted throughout the industry. Most major U.S. firms instituted extensive quality improvement campaigns directed not only towards improving internal operations, but also towards satisfying external customers. As businesses and industries began to focus on quality, the U.S. government recognized how critical quality was to the nation's economic health. In 1984, the U.S. government designated October as National Quality Month. In 1985, NASA announced an Excellence Award for Quality and Productivity. In 1987, the Baldrige Award, a statement of national intent to provide quality leadership, was established by an act of Congress. In 1988, President Reagan established the Federal Quality Prototype Award and the President's Award for governmental agencies. In the 1970s, a General Electric Task Force study of consumer perceptions of the quality of various GE product lines found that production lines with relatively poor reputation for quality de-emphasized the customer's viewpoint, regarded quality as synonymous with tight tolerance and conformance to specifications, tied quality objectives to manufacturing flows, expressed quality objectives as a number of defects per unit, and used formal quality control systems only in manufacturing. By contrast, production lines that received customer praise were found to emphasize satisfying customer expectations, determine customer needs through market research, use customer-based quality performance measures, and had formal quality control systems in place for all business functions, not just for measuring manufacturing. The task force concluded that quality must not be viewed solely as a technical discipline, but rather as a management discipline. Managers began to realize that listening to customers, developing long-term relationships, developing strategy, measuring performance, analyzing data, rewarding and training employees, designing and delivering products and services, and acting as leaders in the organization are the true enablers of quality, customer satisfaction, and business results. The quality of management is just as important as the management of quality. So the term Big Q refers to the management of quality in all organizational processes, whereas the term Little Q refers to the management of quality in manufacturing. The term Total Quality Management recognizes the broad scope of quality. TQ is a total system approach, not on a separate area or program, and is an integral part of high-level strategy. It works horizontally across functions and departments, involves all employees top to bottom, and extends backwards and forwards to include the supply chain and the customer chain. TQ stresses learning and adaptation to continual change as keys to organizational success. In the early 1990s, there was a lot of hype about TQM. There were, however, many failures which were caused by flawed organizational approaches and management systems, such as poor quality strategies or good strategies that were poorly executed. As the editor of Quality Digest put it, no, TQM isn't dead. TQM failure does prove that bad management is still alive and kicking. Although quality can drive business success, it cannot guarantee it. And one must not infer that business failures or stock price drops are the result of poor quality. As TQM changed the way that organizations thought about customers, human resources, and manufacturing and service processes, many top executives began to recognize that all fundamental business activities need to be based on quality principles, work together as a system, and be continually improved as environmental conditions and business decisions change. The product focus of quality has evolved into a new concept called performance excellence, which can be defined as an integrated approach to organizational performance management that results in the delivery of ever-improving value to customers and stakeholders, improving overall organizational effectiveness and capabilities, learning for the organization and for people in the workforce. In the late 1990s, a new approach called Six Sigma emerged. Six Sigma is a customer-focused, results-oriented approach to business improvement that integrates many traditional quality improvement tools and techniques that have been tested and validated over the years, with a bottom line and strategic orientation that appeals to senior managers, thus gaining their support. Globalization has made organizations realize that their survival depends on high quality. Many countries have mounted national efforts to increase quality awareness. The real challenge today is to ensure that managers continue to focus on quality management and performance excellence throughout their organizations. The ASQ identified 8 forces that will influence the future of quality. These are 1. Global responsibility, 2. Consumer awareness, 3. Globalization, 4. Increasing rate of change, 5. Workforce of the future, 6. aging population, 7, 21st century quality, and 8, innovation.